Namaste. I'm Dr. Robert. Today, on 5-ish Minutes with Dr. Robert, my subject is Nadi Jyotisha. Jyotisha is the divinatory discipline of India, divination. And there are, generally speaking, 5 major different varieties of Jyotisha in India. There's Parashari Jyotisha, which is the most common, and that's the style of Jyotisha that follows Parashara. There is also Jaimini Jyotisha, which is similar in many ways to Parashara, but has significant differences. That was promulgated by Maharshi Jaimini. There is Nilakanta Tajika, and that Tajika suggests that it originally, that many of the principles came from the Arabs, who of course got it from the Greeks, who of course got it from the Babylonians, etc. And there is Tantrika Jyotisha. The 5th of these is called Nadi Jyotisha. And that word Nadi is also used to describe the nadis inside the body, which are the pathways in which the prana circulates. So Nadi Jyotisha suggests that there are certain pathways along which karmas will move. And it is said that some centuries ago, some experts in Jyotish would sit around and they would project their awareness forward. And they would say that at a certain time, at a certain place, a certain individual is going to be born. And these are the qualities that that individual will have. And these are the karmas that will have brought that person to this place at the time of the reading. And what they did is they wrote these things down and they collected them in compendia. And now there are still places in India. One is in Hoshiarpur, and that one is sometimes called the Bhrigu Samhita. And then there is a place called Vaitishwaran Kovil in Tamil Nadu, not far from Chidambaram, where there are a number of these granthas, a number of these compendia collected. And I personally have not been to Hoshiarpur. I have been to Vaitishwaran Kovil and had a reading done there. And the method they use there is to employ your thumbprint, and then they go through batches of leaves and they will ask you questions like, do you have 4 sisters and 3 brothers? If not, they move on to the next leaf. And then when they got to mine, they said, did your father's name have the consonants D, V, N? And they did. His name was Edwin. And did your mother's name have the consonants L, R? They did. She was Laura. So then they asked another question or 2, and then they found the appropriate leaf. There was a gentleman that I knew for many years in Bombay who sadly passed away last year, but who had a different method. He would actually look at the individual's birth time and the ascendant from the horoscope, and if you did not have a birth time, he would take you out at a certain time of day around noon and measure your shadow with an interesting looking yardstick that had a bunch of different symbols on it, and he would calculate your ascendant from there. And that's why he was called a Chaya Shastri, because Chaya means shadow. And whatever kind of reading you get from Nadi Jyotisha, you will often, you meaning people who do it, will often find that that reading is extremely accurate up till the point of the reading. But very often, the reading is not that accurate thereafter, that is for the prediction. And the reason for this is that the experts who were putting these books together, they were calculating according to the karmas that would have brought the person to the reading. But of course, there is a certain thing kind of like free will, and therefore after the reading, according to what you choose to do with that information, you may influence the projected future in a way that is not going to directly reflect what the reading had to say. So Nadi Jyotish can be interesting, but it is definitely not something that you want to take advice from indiscriminately. This is Dr. Robert wishing everyone clarity in awareness.